Good afternoon, everyone. In today's session, you will learn how to procure assets in Onfinity ERP. The objective enables you to understand the Onfinity asset procurement and its associated terms in the context of business processes. The prerequisites for creating an asset procurement in Onfinity ERP are that a configured tenant is required in your environment, organizations are configured in your tenant, product categories and products are defined in the system, and the asset group, serial number control, and depreciation rules are configured. Asset procurement in Onfinity ERP refers to the process of acquiring assets for the organization through purchase, internal transfer, or capitalization of expenses. It ensures that the procured asset is properly recorded in the system with all relevant details such as asset group, cost, vendor, and depreciation rules. The steps for asset procurement in Onfinity ERP are as follows. Raise a purchase order to the vendor. Record the goods receipt note when the vendor delivers the assets. On GRN completion, the asset is created in the asset window without cost. Record the AP invoice from the vendor so that the invoice value becomes the final cost of the asset. Enter the expected scrap value if required. Run the Calculate Asset Cost process to update the cost. Run the Generate Asset Schedule process to create the depreciation schedule. And once the schedules are generated, the asset procurement process is complete. Now you can move into the system and create a purchase order. To generate the purchase order, search for Purchase Order in the menu Search Utility, or directly navigate to Procurement Management under Purchase Order. Open the screen. Click on New Record, select the organization in which you want to raise the purchase order, select the target document type, and enter the order reference if required. Enter the date ordered and date promised. Add a short description for the record, select your vendor, and once the vendor is selected, the remaining details will be auto-populated by the system. Select the warehouse in which you want to receive the material and save the record. Move on to the Lines tab. Click on New Record, select the product, and enter the quantity. The price and other details will be automatically filled by the system. Enter the print description if needed, select the tax, and save the record. In this way, you can create multiple lines if required. Once all the lines are entered, move back to the header and complete the purchase order. Once the purchase order is received by the vendor and the vendor dispatches the material, you need to create a goods receipt note. You can search for goods receipt note using the menu Search Utility or navigate to Material Management. Under Storage Operations, you will find the goods receipt note screen. Open the screen, click on New Record, select the organization, choose the document type, movement date, and warehouse where you are receiving the material. Enter the order reference if needed and a short description for the record. Select the vendor, and once you do, the location and other details will be auto-populated. Select the locator where you want to receive the material and save the record. Click on the Create Lines From button, select the relevant purchase order, and click OK. The system will display all open purchase order lines. Select the required lines and click OK, and the system will generate the lines for the GRN. Once all the GRN lines are created, click on the Complete button to complete the record. When the record is completed, the system automatically creates the corresponding asset records in the background. At the bottom of the GRN, you can see that the assets have been generated by the system. To verify, open the Asset Register. You can search for Asset Register in the menu Search Utility, or navigate to Asset Management under Fixed Asset Management. You will be able to see the assets, such as Hyundai, created by the system. At this stage, there is no cost or depreciation schedule available because the invoice has not yet been entered. Next, you need to generate the AP invoice. You can either use the Generate Invoice option or open the AP invoice screen directly. For example, generate invoice FA1002 with document type AP invoice and click OK. The invoice will be created in the system. Search for AP Invoice in the menu Search Utility or navigate to Finance Management under Accounts Payable and open the AP Invoice window. Search for your record and complete it. Once the record is completed, the system automatically generates the matched invoice and match entries. Now move to the GRN and post the record to see the accounting consequences. The vehicle account will be debited while the not invoiced receipts account will be credited. Next, move to the AP invoice and check its accounting consequences. The product inventory clearing account will be debited, tax will be debited, and accounts payable trade will be credited. Since the match invoice is already generated, open the match invoice window, post the record, and check the accounting consequences. The not invoiced receipts and product inventory clearing accounts will be cleared. This is how the vehicle account is debited in the system when you purchase fixed assets. Now, to update the cost of all assets, navigate to Asset Management under Fixed Asset Management and open the process Calculate Asset Cost. Select your organization, the accounting date, and the relevant currency rate type. This is used when invoices are in different currencies so that the system can pick the appropriate conversion rate. Click OK, and you will see that the Hyundai Creta asset cost is calculated by the system. Open the asset register again and refresh. You can now see the capitalized cost, historical cost, and written down value all updated. Finally, you need to generate the asset schedule. You can find the Generate Asset Schedule process under the Fixed Asset Transactions. Open the process and select your organization, for example, Sony Ventures, and select the asset group, such as vehicles. If you want to update the schedule for a specific asset, select it from the Asset field. Otherwise, keep it blank. You can also select the in-service date range if needed. If you are generating the asset schedule for the first time, keep the Reschedule field empty. The Prospective Period option updates only the schedules that are not yet depreciated, while the Retrospective Period option updates all schedules, whether depreciated or not. Since this is the first-time generation, keep the Reschedule option blank and click OK. The system will generate schedules for all assets, and you can verify them by navigating to the Life Depreciation tab in the Asset Register. There, you will be able to see the asset schedules created by the system. That is how you can procure and record assets in Onfinity ERP and prepare them for depreciation. That's all in this video. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.